Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to an action packed episode of the Creative Differences podcast. I am Dallas, and I can't wait until we do an episode on blind spotting.
I'm Gabby, and I'm only here so I don't get fined.
Haha, I like that. Good reference. Solid reference. And kind of true, given how often you've been here. Anyway,
And it's been 69 days and 8 episodes since I've gotten all the Creative Differences hosts on an episode.
yep,
I love you guys.
exactly my
Love
point.
you so much.
So before we get into today's episode, we just wanted to address the situation going on in our nation right now. First of all, Black Lives Matter. Protesters, we stand with you. Be safe, be careful. The cops are being trash. I told myself I wasn't going to say that, but sometimes you just got to say it. Not all cops are being trash. Some of you are doing your job. You need to start calling out the ones who are not, and we appreciate those who are. Protesters, we stand with you. Be safe.
Make sure you guys are equipped.
Yeah, don't be caught slipping out there.
And for those of you guys who don't feel comfortable protesting isn't for everyone. But there are different ways that you guys can help out and support. There is a link currently on our Twitter account where you guys can go and find out ways that you can help.
You can donate. You can contact the elected officials in Minneapolis, and even here in LA. There's instances of police brutality that we can contact our own DAs. There's plenty that you can do if you don't feel comfortable going out into the street for whatever reason.
Because we understand there is still a pandemic outside.
That's true.
There
Yeah,
is.
I'm
And also, it's
immunocompromised. I can't be in a
dangerous to
crowd right now.
protest. What was that? Sorry.
I was saying I'm immunocompromised. I can't be in a crowd. Also, I'm Black. I don't want to go talk to police. Donate. Talk to the right people. Listen to NWA as loud as you can.
Yes.
We have a link on our Twitter where you can find sources to donate and ways you can help. Stay tuned at the end of the episode so you can find our social media. You might know it already. Anybody else have anything else they want to add to that?
I think we have said it all, so you guys can get into today's Throwback Thursday episode.
All right, let's get into it. Happy Throwback Thursday, everyone. Today we're talking about Spy because the 5th anniversary is sometime this week. I don't know. It's Thursday. Just look at whatever. It's 5 years old this week. So Spy is directed and written by Paul Feig. I'm pretty sure that's how you say his name. Whatever.
Yeah. Yes, it is.
You know him. He made Bridesmaids, The Heat, Ghostbusters, A Simple Favor, Last Christmas. He also created Freaks and Geeks, which I didn't know until last night when I started Wikipediaing him.
He's also one of my favorite characters in Heavyweights.
Oh, yeah, he's also an actor. Forgot about that.
Yeah, he was one of my favorite actors from the 90s.
Speaking of actors, he was in this movie. He plays the drunk dude at the hotel that falls on the ground and says nothing.
Oh.
Yes. So, yeah, he's established in this specific genre of Melissa McCarthy comedy.
Yes.
But also Last Christmas and A Simple Favor.
Mm-hmm.
He's a funny dude. Gabby?
Yes.
I know you had seen this movie before.
I have.
Do you remember your first time watching this movie?
I do not. But I remember I didn't get to see it in theaters, and that made me very sad. But I saw it on HBO or something later. And I remember being really excited to see it because this movie kind of everybody really liked it, and it showed us a different side for a couple of actors. And
Yeah,
then
definitely.
it's one of the movies that established Melissa McCarthy as she's now a comedy actress. It proved that Bridesmaids wasn't a fluke.
Yeah, and she could lead the movie on her own.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I remember really being excited about this movie.
Yeah, I saw it in theaters 5 years ago. And I remember liking it, thinking that some of the humor was a bit hit and miss for me, which is pretty much always the case for Paul Feig. Generally, I like him, but there's always some stuff that I'm just like, all right, you can't sink every shot. But I do remember being really, really surprised at how funny Jason Statham is.
That was the one. Oh my God. We'll get there, but that was the one that I think it also changed Jason Statham too.
Definitely.
As people's impression of him, because everybody thought he was this serious action star. And this was a great transition movie, I think, or he could have used it as a great transition movie to more comedy roles.
Mm-hmm.
Because he was still doing an action role, but he was being ridiculous.
Yeah.
And it was amazing.
Let's circle back to him.
Yes.
And how he shines in this movie. Anyway, yeah, let's talk about that story. It's a spy movie.
It got complicated a little bit for a second there for me.
It did. There's a lot of wait. What side are they on? What's that? Wait, what side are they on? What side is he on? He's on the other
Exactly.
side, but he's actually back on the first side. What's going
Yeah,
on? Also,
exactly.
there will be spoilers, guys.
Yes. It got a little bit there for me. I'm gonna admit. Overall, I think it was the spy movie. There's gonna be some double agents, and then you move on. I don't know. I felt like it lost its way for a second there, and then it came back, and it was fine.
I want
So
to jump into that. I think that works for the movie though, because it's definitely supposed to be a parody of James Bond movies, which is why I think it does what it does.
Well, that's the weird thing because as silly as it is, I remember Melissa McCarthy came out and said like it's not supposed to be a spoof or a parody. It's just like a spy movie that's funny. And I was like, is it though? Like it is funny, but it feels very spoofy. But
It's a spy movie that doesn't take itself seriously, and it
yeah,
also makes fun of other spy movies.
yeah.
yeah,
Like especially the whole first scene where he's like doing all the James Bond stuff and then he sneezes and shoots a guy in the face. That's
yeah,
very spoofy. But yeah, it gets a little like she changes her identity like 3 or 4 times. Jude Law switches sides like 2 or 3 times. You never know who's on what. Blah 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 blah
yeah.
blah.
Jude Law, I lost track of what
blah.
side he was on.
But yeah, I don't know. Like it's a comedy, so for me, it's just make me laugh. If your story is a little convoluted or hard to follow, I don't really care too much. If it's not a movie that I have to really sit there and think about too much.
Yeah, I mean, it's a comedy.
Yeah, so I just focus mostly on the comedy, and like I said, it's mostly good. It's hit and miss, but more hit than miss. It's just as much as I love Melissa McCarthy, the way that directors tend to use her is either she's gonna fall down because that's funny, or she's gonna say some vulgar stuff because that's funny. She shows a bit more range here because
Yes.
I guess we'll say that when we get to the characters, but it's
Yeah.
still a lot of, oh, she fell off the scooter, ha ha ha, or she's cussing at this guy and talking about his dick, ha ha. But for the most part, it's good. Was it good for you, Gabby? That's weird. I shouldn't have said that like that.
Yes.
Was it
please
funny
don't.
for you, Gabby?
I really like this movie. And actually, I just did some research, and I realize now why I like this movie, and it's gonna come. I'm gonna say more when we get to the characters.
Maybe we can just
Um,
move to the characters if you like.
Great, yay! So the main character of Spy
Susan
is
Cooper.
Susan Cooper. Okay,
Yes.
so now I realize why actually I really like this movie. Because I went on to Melissa McCarthy's. I went on to her, what do you call it, Wikipedia page, and I actually Spy was like the 4th or 5th hit that she had after Bridesmaids. So she was already really established
Yeah,
as a
honestly,
star.
I was looking at like, because when I watched the movie, Amazon Prime is like, you might also like these movies. And she had a movie like every year from
Yeah.
Bridesmaids for a while. It was like Bridesmaids, The Heat, Identity Thief.
And they were all hits. Like
Spy.
they all
Yeah.
did really well commercially. I'm realizing now why I like this movie. It's because they advertised it as her usual kind of like new gruff self. But when you
Mhm.
start watching the movie, she's like this. It's more like Suki from Gilmore Girls is her general
Yeah.
attitude. And so I
Mhm.
was like, oh my God, we're going to see her do or transition. So we're going to see her do a range of people or type of person. So then I got really excited because I was like, it's not her quote. Like at this point, we'd seen her kind of do that for like 4 movies. So
Right.
I'm like, it's not the thing that she normally does. It's something different, or at least it's going back to what she used to do. Which it's like the same reason why I got excited for seeing like Chris Evans in Knives Out. It's like, oh, he's going back to his asshole roots. Yes,
Yeah, exactly.
in this one, she was going back to her like sweetheart roots, and she was a lady at a desk. And we did eventually see her transition, but we saw her in a range, and it was more like a character growth as opposed
Yeah.
to. So that's why I remember really liking this movie because it surprised me.
Yeah. And
I
it's
will
funny
say
because it's
this.
much. Oh, Demi's here. Hi.
Yeah, I am. Hi. I will say this. Watching this movie made me a bit more interested and excited about seeing her in the Little Mermaid live action as Ursula.
That makes sense.
Yeah,
Because
yeah,
I wasn't aware that Melissa McCarthy actually, could do other things.
A lot of people weren't. But now
Yeah.
I kind of just want to see Ursula like just
But-
roasting Ariel like Melissa McCarthy does people in this movie.
right. I mean, I know she could do range because I remember Melissa McCarthy from Gilmore Girls. That's where I first saw her. And so when I saw Bridesmaids, I was like, "Oh my god, this woman is amazing."
Yeah, she's
But
got
then
range.
for 4 years we saw her only do that. So that's when I was like, "Okay, but like I know you can bring other things to the table. I want to see you bring something else." And that's why I really liked her character in this movie.
But yeah, this movie is full of. First off, the cast is really stacked,
Yeah.
and everyone is funny. Like
Mhm.
Allison Janney or Janie. How do you say her last name?
Janie.
Perfect. As Elaine Crocker. Allison Janney's always great, but when Susan came in with like the eye infection and she was like, "Is that pink eye?" She was like, "No, I'm having an allergic reaction." She said, "Oh, okay, well, I'm allergic to discussing childhood illnesses, so stay away from me." It's like she's so perfect for like lines like that, and just the whole
Yeah.
movie. She's just, "I'm not about your nonsense. Get away from me."
Yes.
But she's
And then
great.
like Miranda Hart is in this movie too, which I really like. Gosh, oh, and Miranda Baccarat I forgot about. Like
I
this movie's
completely
like
forgot she was in this movie.
this movie's so many people. Well, let's get
Freaking
into the main
Jason Statham.
characters. Yeah.
Jason Statham. This is one thing I was talking to Kayla about last night when I was watching the movie is that Jason Statham he's made a name for himself as the action guy.
Yeah.
And part of the reason why this is so funny is because his character is still kind of playing it the same way. Like he's saying ridiculous things, but with that same Jason Statham intensity that he always has, because he's not like, no one looks at Jason Statham as like, "Oh yeah, that guy is like an Oscar nominated actor." Like he's not Daniel Day-Lewis. He just has to look serious and intense.
Yeah.
And when he does that, but he's saying like, "You're gonna ruin it times infinity." It's like that scene where he just breaks down all of his fight accomplishments. I reattach this arm with this arm. She's like, "That's not possible."
So stupid.
I jumped a car through a roof while on fire. The car wasn't on fire. I was on fire. It's like, what are you talking about?
So
But he's
stupid.
amazing. And I'm so glad he's in this movie.
This could have easily not worked. And I think it just proves that he does have comedic timing.
Yeah.
Because his character was hilarious. Like it was one of the best parts of the movie. Like, and I remember
Definitely.
just being like, is this really the guy from like Transport? Like,
Right, like this is Transport.
I was like, is this because I think this was before he was on in the Fast and the Furious movies, right?
I
Or
don't know
like
when
right
he first
before?
got it. That's a Demi question.
Demi?
Yes, I think it was around the same time because I think he pops up in Furious 7, and that was 2015 as well.
Okay, yeah, so it would have been around
Okay,
the same.
so it's like right before like Fast and the Furious was like, oh wait, Jason's hilarious. Okay, let's use that to our
because
It was
advantage.
around the same time that they were like, "Oh, Jason's hilarious."
Yeah,
Yeah,
because I think in that one he's not really funny, right? He's like the
no,
big
he was
bad.
the villain.
He's the bad guy in that one.
Yeah, he doesn't
Yeah.
get funny until later on in the series.
Yeah, so maybe this movie helped them go, oh wait a minute, we liked Jason, we can bring him back and we'll just make him ridiculous, just like
Yeah.
in Spy. And he's like great. He's one of the fun parts of the Fast and the Furious movies.
Yeah, everybody in this movie is great. Also, I want to talk about Rose Byrne.
Yes.
Because I can never get over the fact that Rose Byrne's filmography is like this amazing lane straddling between these really, really stupid comedies and like serious movies. And no one looks at her like they would look at Melissa McCarthy, Kristen Wiig, Seth Rogen, all those people. But she has movies like Spy, Get 'Em to the Greek, Neighbors, Jexy. Like she does all these dumb comedies.
I think it's because how do I put this?
But
Well,
then she also do like
it's the way that they
X-Men,
use her
Troy.
in the movie.
Yeah,
though.
she always has this like level of distinguishedness to her.
Yeah, exactly. So I think that's why she gets to retain. It's because of the way that they use her.
Which
Like
is
as
perfect.
opposed, yeah, when she's the butt of the joke, it's because she's like this pretty woman that's ridiculous, as opposed to falling down and being like physically comedic and stupid.
Because like she was in this movie and in an Insidious movie in the same year. It's just like you are showing your range.
Yeah.
Yeah. Before we move on from characters, I'm gonna say one last thing about her is that her character really annoyed me in the beginning, but once Susan switched up and they started roasting her back, I like the dynamic a lot more because something about like it bothers me when a character's just like being a dick to someone who's not really giving it back, and then it's just bullying, and it's like, oh, this is just sad. Like when Melissa McCarthy was going at the blonde dude super hard for no reason, I was like, this guy's not doing anything to you.
Yeah.
But when she's going at Rose Byrne and Rose Byrne is going back at her, it's really funny to me.
Yeah, I think that's where it's like, as opposed to just being mean to somebody below you, it's like you guys are doing a bit.
Yeah, it's not punching down, it's just punching straight.
Yeah.
Because she's like, when she's like, oh, you remind me of my mother, and she shows this picture of this horrifying woman. And then later, Melissa McCarthy is like, oh, also, like, don't ever compare me to that beast again.
Oh, don't
this
ever
movie's funny.
compare me to that beast. It is like, I remember being so sad that I didn't see it in theaters, but so happy when it finally reached a streaming platform because I
Yeah,
got
it
to
was
see
great.
it. Ugh,
Also, I know I said I was gonna move on from characters, but now I will after this. Aldo was really funny, but I think that's just because Peter Serafinowicz, man, his name.
He's so
Like,
dry.
I've never seen him like that. He was so ridiculous in this movie. It was just, I was like, they have to be improvising this stuff because who writes stuff like that? But I just know him as like dude from Guardians of the Galaxy and the dad from Sing.
He's usually pretty like he's usually pretty not stoic, but like he usually plays the straight man, I feel like.
Yeah, definitely.
Because he was also in John Wick, he was the sommelier. So
yes, he was. That was great too. He's good. I like him.
Yeah, I do like him.
All right. Can we move on from characters, or do you have anything else you want to shout out?
No, honestly, I mean, other than we really covered the three, not the 3 stars because we didn't even talk about Jude Law. But I mean, what else? What is there? He just played a charming spy.
Yeah, he's
that like somebody for Susan Cooper to have a crush on, and he. I mean, I think. How do I put this? I feel like, a lot of the times people really only highlight the standouts, but there's something to be said about just giving a solid performance, and so that was Jude Law. So like,
True.
He was solid. He delivered where he needed to deliver. He let others shine. Okay, let's move on.
Cool. Visuals and sound. Well, I just want to say that intro theme was really dope.
Yeah.
Like, it's like a legitimate Skyfall type, James Bond type intro scene.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I call this movie a parody, because like once we hit that intro, I was like, oh, so you are making like a spy satire.
Yeah, that makes sense. But like the song was so dope. I don't know who sings it, and I should have looked it up. But the song was dope. The visuals were dope. I'm like, yeah, you guys really did this. You did the whole thing.
They did.
And the same goes for the end credits because they had another song with more graphics and all that fun stuff. Other than that, there's not a lot I have to say for this movie as far as visuals and sound.
Yeah, no. This movie wasn't really about the music.
Yeah, it's just it's a comedy.
Yeah.
I would say that they did a good job of taking spy iconography that we're used to seeing in spy movies and using that and subverting it occasionally or making it funny.
What do you mean by when you say iconography? Like just the way everything looks?
Not like the way everything looks, but like the things that we are used to seeing spies do.
Okay, yeah, I get you.
There's like it's almost like there's a checklist when you're making a spy movie of things you have to have. Like, okay, here's a casino scene. Okay.
Oh yeah, definitely. I was like, oh, we're gonna do the casino thing again.
Yeah, like there's like certain things that you do when you're making a spy movie, and this movie does all of those, and it takes that type of, vibe and feeling, and it does it really well, but it also makes it funny and kind of subverts it every so often.
I feel you. They did a good job with that. Shout out to Paul Feig.
Also, there was one moment, I don't even remember what scene it was, but they like a music cue happened and I was listening to the music and I was like, this sounds like it belongs in a James Bond movie.
I don't know what scene you're talking about, but yeah, that sounds like something that would happen.
I wish I could remember what I was talking about, but there was definitely there was one scene in particular where I was just like, this sounds like James Bond music. That's good job to the composer.
Yeah, shout out to that person. I don't know who it is, but I'll look it up. Gabby, you got anything to say about the sound?
This is like the weakest section for me. I don't usually have a lot to say about this section.
I don't either, but I mean, it depends on the movie. Like, obviously, I had more to say about the visuals and Percy Jackson because visuals, but not this one.
Onward?
Moving on.
Onward!
What's your favorite aspect of this movie, Gabby?
It is one, Susan Cooper's range of like and growth. And 2, Jason Statham.
I definitely agree with that.
So great, so hilarious. But really, I just like that this movie showed me that, or showed audiences, because I knew that she could do it. Showed audiences that Melissa McCarthy has, in fact, range.
Yeah, I agree. I didn't think that she didn't. And for me, it's like switching from one kind of comedy to another kind of comedy is
Yeah.
cool. But I'm still just blown away by Jason Statham's performance just because it's so stupid. And
It
he
is.
was able to completely, like, basically play it straight, but still be hilarious.
Yes.
Like, everything he says, it looks like he's taking it completely seriously. And I just,
so silly.
even though he's just an oaf, like when he runs in toward the end and his jacket gets caught in the door and he just falls out. Like, oh, he's an idiot.
Or how he kept showing up being an idiot. It's like, go away, but also, no, this is hilarious. I'm so glad you're back.
He managed to show up in every scene and make everything worse.
Yeah, but also make you so excited for him that he's there.
Dude was dope. Also, the composer for this movie is Theodore Shapiro, and I don't know what else he has done. Oh, not another teen movie. That's not what I expected. In the old school, 13 going on 30, Dodgeball.
Ooh.
He's done a lot.
He also did Tropic Thunder.
Nice. I love Tropic Thunder.
Great.
Oh yeah, he does comedies. Oh my god, this dude has been busy. I don't have time to read all these, but he's done a lot of funny movies. Demi, do you have a favorite thing about this movie since you're here?
Not particularly that I can think off the top of my head. Probably Jason Statham.
That's fair.
I also liked you guys didn't talk about her much, but I did like Susan Cooper's friend.
The British lady?
Oh, no, I mentioned her.
Oh, okay. You know what my favorite aspect of this movie actually is? It's this idea that there is like a community of guys at the desk or a guy in the chair.
Oh yeah.
Right? I did like that aspect too. I was like, oh, he has somebody with him. Oh, that's good.
Yeah, because I thought it was cool to give like the I'm gonna use a Bones term, give the squints some attention in the spy world. So yeah, I thought that was actually really cool.
Okay.
I think it's interesting. A lot of movies, like the ones that are comedies, do that, like kind of field agents versus desk agents thing. Like they do it in, I think, Get Smart, The Other Guys. That was Cops. Never mind, not that one. And Archer does it a lot. And Archer's hilarious.
Yeah.
So a section that we normally have is what you're expecting from the next installment. And I just figured there would be nothing to say. But apparently, Feig wrote a sequel already.
He did. He just says that there's nobody really interested in
Yeah, the studio just wasn't really interested in it.
Oh.
And I can't imagine that Disney is very interested in Spy 2 because Disney owns Fox and this was a Fox movie. I don't know, maybe. Put it on Disney Plus, see what happens.
They're not going to put it on Disney Plus, put it on Hulu. I know. But it did have a huge profit margin. It did make a lot of money. So maybe.
And it got a 94% of Rotten Tomatoes. So everybody liked it.
Yeah. So I don't know. Maybe Feig is like a Disney kind of person. Like he used to work for them in the 90s. So maybe.
Did something happen? Like, is he decidedly not a Disney person now?
No, I just remember he was in a lot of Disney comedies when we were kids, or he was in a couple. So like maybe they have a soft spot for him and they'll be willing to make a sequel. Because I'd be fine with a sequel for this movie, especially if Jason Statham's character comes back. Because I
remember hearing that the sequel would definitely feature him.
Okay, great. Because that was amazing. Like so ridiculous. I just appreciate Feig for giving that character a chance. Or like giving Statham a chance to be ridiculous.
Yeah, shout out Jason Statham and Paul, Melissa, everybody. I'm not going to shout out everybody in this movie. There's too many people.
There's many people.
That's Spy. We all liked it.
Woo!
I think Demi liked it. She said it off mic, but you guys didn't hear
it.
Yeah. Cool. Thanks, audience, for listening to all that. Let us know what you think about Spy and Jason Statham being an oaf. Let us know if you would want to see a Spy sequel on Disney Plus. Just tell them to be brave about it. Thanks to Crown Digital, Brandon, and Io for putting us on Spotify and Apple Podcasts all the time. Thank you to me for editing and keeping track of the last time we were all together. Thank you, Gabby, for being here. We're going to get all together one time. I don't know.
We are. Hopefully.
Yeah, because we haven't had Colin the last two, so maybe he's going to be the problem child now.
Did you guys call me the problem child?
No, we didn't, but I was going to say Colin is always the problem child. What are you talking about?
Don't attack Colin while he's not here.
Not attack Colin, please?
Colin attacked Gabby while she wasn't here.
He did?
That's right, he probably did.
Remember he said that
I'm still
the
gonna
Twitter
defend him fervently.
the Twitter at names, he said he would come up with the worst ones possible as a punishment for not being here.
Oh, that's true.
Aw.
He did say he wanted to punish Gabby.
Oh, did we come up with an at name for him?
We'll see when we get there.
Okay, cool.
Anyway, speaking of Twitter, you can find us all on our medias. On Twitter, we're at y'all_different. On Tumblr and Instagram, we're at Creative Differences Podcast. Facebook, just search Creative Differences. That one's easy. You can find me personally on Twitter and Instagram at a king named Simba.
You find me, Gabby, on Instagram at Stegosoria.
And you can find Colin on Twitter at the spy who clapped me.
Oh no! Oh my goodness gracious.
Anyway, it's been different.
Bye.